What is up, YouTube? In this tutorial, we're actually going to go ahead and dive in and start looking at how to do stuff on our own. So we're going to be going over a couple of different tags. We're going to be going over the headings, paragraphs, links, and images tag. So yeah, let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is how would you put a heading? And you want it to be big and bold. So we can do the biggest heading tag that you can get is the H1, the heading 1 tag. So this is going to create your biggest heading. So we can say this is our main heading. I'm going to put an exclamation point because this is exciting. And you want to make sure to save the file before you click on the green play icon. And here it is. And this is our main heading. It looks nice and big, you know, so it's good. So I'm just going to go ahead and minimize that for now. And in the same way, essentially, you can keep going with the heading numbers. And generally, we're not going to be talking about styling yet, but when we do, you usually have like 3 to 4 levels of headings, and they all kind of have like different sizes. So like H2 is a little bit smaller, so we can say this is a secondary heading. We're not as excited. It's a secondary heading. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the page, click on refresh, and there you go. The secondary heading, as you can see, is a little bit smaller. And you can keep going. I'm gonna copy and paste this. I'm gonna change the 2 to a 3. And tertiary heading. Right? And I'm just gonna go ahead and look at it again. You click on refresh after saving, tertiary heading. And as you can see, each of the headings is a different size and stuff. So that's kind of how tags work in this. You type out your tag, like you tell it what the text inside is, and then you type out your text, and it shows you the text. It's pretty straightforward. It's nice and simple. Okay, so those are our headings. Now, what if we want to write out a paragraph, right? Because web pages aren't just headings. They have paragraphs of text. So the paragraph tag is just a P. It's a P in that. And you might be noticing that I just type out the first opening tag and the closing tag kind of shows up there by itself. And that's one of the features of NetBeans. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. So if I type out the P, as you can see here, like this, it gives me suggestions for what I might be trying to type out. So it is the first one. So if I close it, it gives me a suggestion for what it thinks should go next, which is the closing tag. So I can click enter, press enter, and it puts that there. So in this paragraph, I'll just say this is a sample paragraph, right? We're going to save it, open up the page, refresh. There you go. That's the sample paragraph. It's a normal text. If you have large chunks of text, you want them in that styling. Now, say we wanted to do a second. So usually, what you do is you would write out each paragraph in these paragraph text, and each paragraph starts on a new line, like how those things are. This is a second paragraph. You save it, and we'll go ahead and refresh, and it shows you the second paragraph. But what if you want just a line break in the same paragraph, right? So I'll do this is the first line, and then period, and I'll press enter, and then this is the second line. So that should show me 2 lines and then the second paragraph. So let's see what happens, right? You click refresh, and why is this all on one line? We want it to be on separate lines, right? That's how we typed it out. Well, in HTML, the way you type out your code doesn't matter. White space is ignored, right? So the white space in HTML, none of it matters. This can all of this stuff that's here, all the enters and stuff, you can all mush that all together, and none of it matters to the browser. So to say that you want that part to go in the second line, what you use is a break tag, like a break line tag. So that's an open bracket, pointy bracket, break, and then forward slash, and then this other pointy bracket. So when you're, again, when you're in NetBeans, when you type out, okay, so I'll do it in slow motion and I'll dictate. So I'm typing out, I tap out the BR, I press space, and as soon as I press the slash, it'll finish out my tag because it knows that's the end. Nothing else will go after that slash because it's kind of a shorthand way of writing like these two tags, but because this tag is kind of just like a one tag thing um, that's just telling the web page that it's a break in the line there, it stays like that. So uh, now we can go ahead and check it out, and there you go. So that line works, and as you can see, you know how you'd usually want it, where the second paragraph has a little bit of space. There's a little bit of space between the paragraphs, but like not space between the lines. So that's really kind of what I wanted to show you there. Okay. Um, Another very useful feature of web pages is how you do links. So to do a link, uh, this is, say we want to link to YouTube from our web page. This is how you do a link. So links are tags A. I'm not really sure what A stands for. Bonus points if someone tells me in the comments. But so they're called A, and so yeah, you have A, and let's say YouTube link in the middle. And now to make this a link, to give it a direction of where we want it to go, we do um, so um, this is the reason why I wanted to show you the link tags to show you how you set attributes to each of these tags. So one of the most important attributes for a link tag is the link that it's going to be sending the user to when they click on it. And so you define that link by going inside this first bracket, the opening tag of the link things, and you type href equals, and then NetBeans again automatically does the quotes, and we want to link it to, let's link it to YouTube because you know that's what we all love. So we're gonna link it to youtube.com, and actually I'm just gonna make it a whole thing. So http://youtube.com, and it should take us there. So we're gonna go ahead and save, and we're gonna test it out again quick. Refresh YouTube link. We click on it. Bam, YouTube. Right? Okay. So that's working well. And I know I'm going pretty fast through a lot of this, but I just kind of want to introduce you to a ton of stuff because there's so much to do. Uh, and just this is a nice overview of getting you familiar with a bunch of different things. So we're going to go ahead and say, okay, so the next element we're going to learn is images. How would you put an image on your web page? So that's done by the image tag, which is img. And just how in the link we have to define what link we want to send to, in image tags we have to say where the picture is. So we're gonna type in source, and we're gonna leave that blank for a second because I don't have a image right now. But yeah, and then we're gonna go ahead and put the closing bracket. And one of the things I want to point out is I like to use this slash and then a bracket, but you really don't need it. In HTML5, that's one of the things where you kind of don't need that. Like in image, I like to use the closing slash, but I don't need it. I can just have it like that. And right now, if I open my web page and click on refresh, nothing really changes. That's just the image that isn't there. That's why it shows. But nothing really changes with the break. And so if you don't want to, you don't have to. And it's probably better practice to actually not use it. So I'm gonna try to not use it for you guys. Um, but yeah, so okay, so we wanna show the source of an image. We want an image there. So I'm gonna pick a, let's see what this image is. Okay, this is a random image from one of my videos. I think it's just a video of like it's an image of NetBeans or something like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that in here. So uh, what you can do with NetBeans is if you have a file in your Windows like Explorer here or whatever, you can just drag. You can okay, let's show you. So I took this file. Oh, this is from the first video, right? So I took this file because I find it that it's easier to browse for stuff through this through like the default file browser, whether whatever operating system you're using. But I took this first frame.png and I just dragged it and moved it to the folder that I want to put in, and it makes a copy for you. And it's nice and easy. But you can also use this, which well, actually, that's something different. So I'll do that in a later video. But yeah, so I dragged this first bit frame.png, and that'll be the image that I want to show. So here in source, I'll just type in first rain.png, and I don't need to define anything else because it's in the same folder as our web page as index.html, so it doesn't really need anything more than just the name of the image. But save, actually we'll do all of that later. It's nice to keep it simple for now. So here's the image. Now you can see it's kind of big and it doesn't really suit the web page too well. So if we wanted to make it smaller, we can just set a width, and the width is set in pixels, the width and the height. So because I want to keep the aspect ratio, all I'm going to set is the width, and the height will be taken care of automatically. But so let's do an example of that. Let's make the width 400, and it's 400 pixels. Um, Play again, and as you can see, it's nice and small now. But what if I also want to define the height and I don't care about keeping the aspect ratio of the original image and I just make the height 600, even though the width should be bigger than the height with the original frame of the image? I'm, I'm just going to change it because I want to. And I run it, and as you can see, the height and the width get changed according to those attributes right here. Right? And all of this is done in the same way as the source attribute was done and as this href attribute was done. So that's really it for this video because I have gone way too long, but over time. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot from it. Remember to comment, rate, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.